It's Hump Day. You know what that means. Time for the SCWA Hump Day book tour. I'm your host, Maddie Margarita, here with our tech wizard, Diana Pardee. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m., the Southern California Writers Association turns our Facebook group over to a new author to introduce themselves, their books, and maybe share a writing tip or two. So take a break, grab your coffee, and enjoy as the SCWA Hump Day book tour proudly presents best-selling author Christopher Reich. Hi, Chris.
Good morning to everyone from Mammoth Lakes, California, high in the Eastern Sierra.
Where it's nice and cool and not nice and hot like it is in Southern California.
It is, I hate to say it, it's delightful up here, you know, high of 80, nice and cool in the morning, so I'm staying put.
So it's perfect Simon Risk weather.
It is, it's perfect Simon Risk. Well, Simon Risk, of course, is the hero of my latest series of books. The first one was called The Take, the second one, Crown Jewel, and now the third one that just is out earlier this month, The Palace. And Simon actually lives in London, where it's probably pretty much always cooler than in the States. I guess it's a little hot there in the summer once in a while, but basically, you know, London, gray and rainy. But he's an American. He is his main business, let's say, is the front. He has this great automotive garage where he fixes up and restores vintage Italian automobiles, primarily Ferraris, Lamborghinis, cars that these days just go for a fortune, 10, 15, 20 million dollars. So it's a good business to be in. And in fact, when I was doing the research for these books, when I started doing the research, I was hunting around for ways to make my main character interesting. And you know, when you start from scratch, you just have that blank piece of paper staring at you. And coincidentally, I would leave my office in Encinitas, and next door there was a nice Swiss woman. As you know, I'm Swiss, I'm half Swiss. She had a clothing store, but her husband, who I saw once in a while, he was a mechanic and he restored Ferraris. Said, "Oh, your husband restores Ferraris." I go, "That's a pretty good business." She goes, "Well, it's not bad. My husband just bought a Gulfstream 3 jet." So I said, okay, I want to learn more about restoring Ferraris. And I spent several days down at his garage. It's called Top Gun Motors in San Diego, one of the premier Ferrari restoration outfits in the States. And they bring in your Ferrari, and they usually only take cars about 25 years old. And it takes a year to 2 years to restore these, and it costs $400,000, $500,000, $600,000. But with the way these cars have appreciated in value, it is just stunning. So I thought, wow, this is a cool profession for my guy, Simon Risk, to be doing, because this is really only kind of what his day job, you know, his real job, or the job around which these stories are constructed and which the books are about, is he's kind of a fixer, a private spy. You know, to borrow from Brian Mills, he has his own special set of skills, a unique skill set that he brings to bear. And he solves these kind of problems that corporations, wealthy individuals, even intelligence agencies can't be seen to fix themselves. And so here's a guy, he grew up as a youngster, mostly in the south of France. He was in trouble early. He was running with the gangs in Marseille. You know, the mafia there is called Le Milieu, and they are bad. And I mean, and they are blatant. When I was doing the research for this, I said, well, let me learn about this, the French mafia. And goodness, I saw this story on the French version of 60 Minutes about how they were robbing armored cars in broad daylight. They would surround the armored car, and just 5 or 6 guys with machine guns would go after it. And the police would just kind of watch because it's like they don't want to get in the way of these machine gun bullets. I thought, wow, that would be, that's interesting. This takes place. And so I have my character, Simon Risk, was running with this group when he was a youngster. Did some time in jail, and kind of had a miraculous kind of come to Jesus moment, and completely reoriented his life, and decided to, you know, if he has the one angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, he was going to now try to listen to the angel. And then built up a career in banking. And then it was when he was at this bank in London that some of his superiors started noticing that he had this ability to find out and solve kind of thorny issues. So that's kind of the backdrop for who Simon Risk is. You know, he's a very tough kind of Cary Grant. You could say he's smart, he's handsome, but he's tough as nails. And he has a good sense of humor. You know, this is my 14th book, I think that's either come out or that I'm writing now. So that's a lot. And earlier in my career, I started, my first book was called Numbered Account, based upon my time as a Swiss banker working in Zurich. But many of those first books were really, I think the New York Times called them globe-spanning or globe-trotting, loyalty-blurring, bomb-ticking thrillers. And they were just so serious the whole time. I remember once I sent in a copy of my manuscript, and my editor finally got back to me. He goes, God, he goes, don't you know? He goes, these thrillers, because it is full pedal to the metal. You're about to get killed every second. There really can't be any joking around. No sly glances. No, knowing asides. He goes, this is just absolutely deadly serious. And he goes, get that through your head. Well, I didn't, and I wrote a lot of books that way. But then I got with this Simon Risk, where the books ended up being extremely serious and exciting and suspenseful. But I do try to put in a little bit of more of my personality, which is, to have a few jokes now and then, and make it a little bit more entertaining, I think. So you do get a couple good laughs before you're just absolutely, nailed, just turning the pages. So yes, The Palace, book 3 in the Simon Risk series, Find Simon Risk. The book actually opens up on a boat in the south of France during the beginning of the Cannes Film Festival, and he's there to actually steal back a stolen Monet painting stolen from a Dutch museum 20 years earlier. And upon retrieving this painting, he gets home to find out that one of his closest friends has been thrown into a jail in Bangkok, a friend to whom he owes a few very serious favors, debts of honor, I think you'd say. And so off he goes to Thailand to help his friend, and quickly gets ensconced in a financial scandal of enormous proportions. He's quickly on the run, wanted by not only the Thai police, but by this shadowy conspiracy, which is using the gains of the fruits of this financial conspiracy for much worse ends. And so that's how the story goes. It is a mile a minute. I think someone said when they wrote it, I don't know if they meant it entirely favorably, it was like watching just like a Tom Cruise where he's running the whole time. But Simon is running the whole time, that's for sure. And so that's book 3, and I'm happy to say that these books are being made into a television series. I'm not allowed yet to say who's the star, but it is being developed by the team that does the Jack Ryan, the Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime. So we have a great star. Of course, we have a British star attached to play an American, as usual, right? Why can the Brits do perfect American accents, yet I'm very hard put to find an American that can really nail a British accent all the way through, So we have a great showrunner who's just ending a 4-year show he has on BBC. He's coming over to do this. All this, the big announcement will be made soon. But it's super exciting. And it's the kind of books that just lend themselves. They're international, they're cosmopolitan. When I write the books, I always take care to, when I set the scenes, that I really want the reader to feel like they're in that place, that they have a smell. And especially when I wrote this book, The Palace, I was living in Thailand. My idea beginning was to write the book in the exact places where it took place. So the book opens up in France, but then it quickly goes to Thailand. So I was in Bangkok, I was in Singapore, I was in Malaysia, kind of living right where the story took place. And I think it really bleeds through onto the page. I really do. And it certainly was fun to do. It was a great thing to do.
Well, one of the things that always struck me about your background was how you transitioned from, or how you entered the world of Swiss banking, maybe screaming reluctantly, possibly, and then made that transition to author. So can you talk a little bit about that? Tell us how you decided transitioned from that very staid world of Swiss banking to being a writer.
Right. Well, there was several steps. So I did, I got my MBA at the University of Texas back in the late 80s. And I mean, my mindset then was just money, money, money. You remember the movie Wall Street? I thought Gordon Gekko was the hero. It was like, who's going to do this? Right? And then so I worked hard and got this job working in the mergers and acquisitions department at the Union Bank of Switzerland. That's the biggest Swiss bank. And I quickly discovered after like 2 days that this is definitely not the way I want to make my career. That I wasn't that great at it, first of all, especially all the numbers parts, and it just did not thrill me. But here's where serendipity came in. Because I was not the most gifted financial analyst, they say, Reich, you're going to write the deal books. And when you sell a company, you write these big books, right? They're like 500 pages. And one day I get a call from the head of the bank, calls me in, Nicholas Sen, his name is. And he said, he puts his arm around me, he goes, hey, Reich, he goes, you're our own Michael Crichton. He goes, I've read this. He goes, this is the first time it's actually interesting. So I kind of tucked that away back, you know, and I left the bank after several years, and I actually ran a watch company in Neuchâtel, Switzerland for 5 years. And at the end of that, I'd just gotten married, and my boss says, you can't, I was married to the head of marketing of the company, said, you can't be married, you have to fire your wife. Well, that didn't go over too well. What was that dinner? Right? What was that dinner conversation? You know, it's like that question. No, other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? That was not a good day. But I'd been having in the back of my mind, I saw this coming, and I said, you know, I want to do something else. And my wife said, what should we do? Are you going to go back to investment banking? I said, no. I said, I want to be a novelist. You know, I want to be a novelist. And she said, well, you know, are you like secretly writing short stories I don't know about? I said, no. She goes, I don't think you even took one English class in college. And I said, I didn't. And I said, but I just know I can do this. You know, I'm a huge reader, have been my whole life. I felt comfortable. And she looked at me and she goes, you know, I know you could do it too. So I was able to transition. We had some money in the bank. I moved back to Austin, Texas from Switzerland, you know, and I set about it, and I used the same discipline that I had as an investment banker, which is basically just work your ass off all the time. I was in my seat, you know, Mark Twain, first rule of writing, apply back of pants to seat of chair. You know, very simple. I just wrote every day, 7 in the morning. I think I started in May, and by Christmas Day, I had 660 pages done, double space pages. And that was my first book number to count.
Wow, that's great. So I think we have a good idea, at least a flavor of the Simon Risk books and what people are in for. I hope that they, if you can, that you will buy Chris's books. If you can't, if there are other ways to support your favorite author, please leave a review. Please recommend the books if you enjoyed them to your friends. That works as well. Where can people find your books, Chris?
My books are everywhere. I mean, Barnes & Noble, all the independent bookstores, any place where your favorite bestsellers are or your favorite authors are, Simon Risk and The Palace will be there.
Okay, great. And airports, because there's a lot about travel. So if you love travel and you love foreign places, these are the books for you. All right, thank you very much, Chris. All right, we hope that we'll see everybody next Wednesday at 10 a.m. when SCWA welcomes Suzanne Redfern to our camera. So until then, stay safe, stay sane, and we'll see you soon.